Okay, well, thank you to TCC for inviting me today. I think I have a few what the fuck moments myself. First what the fuck moment is, this is a Friday night and I have to talk about cybersecurity, which is not half as fun as customer engagement nor branding. The second what the fuck is, I've been living in Thailand since 1997 and my Thai has not yet improved, so I'm sorry for that. I'll be speaking in English. Actually, my background is very much more in line with P. Mike than speaking about cybersecurity. All my life, I've gone through branding and marketing for companies, starting off with Orange with Mark in around 1999-2000 as part of the pioneering team. I won't go through all of my background, but the one important component for each of the stints that I've made in corporate life is that there's certainly always going to be transformation and change. It's inevitable. So Orange, for example, pulled out and it became True, transformed into True. I joined GE Capital or GE Money to help them launch a retail bank, a brick and mortar retail bank. And then they changed strategy to buy Bank of Ayutthaya, Bank Krung Si. I then joined, after ING bought Thai Military Bank, joined Thai Military Bank in order to help transform them into TMB Bank, creating the Make the Difference brand. Then I joined DTAC to help with the transformation into becoming a player again and getting Spectrum. So some people here are from DTAC from what I understand. So that was to help compete for the 2300 Spectrum. I then transformed myself to become more on the entrepreneurial side. I wanted to become a performance coach and help individuals, senior management and executives transform themselves to maximize their full potential to be the best that they can be. So that's what I'm doing now as a performance coach. So if any of you need me, give me a call. Well, let me take a jump back into my corporate life and why I ended up in cyber security. So starting back at TMB was the first time in corporate life I encountered a hack. The second time was getting a phone call whilst I was at DTAC, and at that time I was the chief of corporate affairs. One thing I did realize is that only security consultants from other countries were the ones who were helping us navigate through these issues. So that's why I partnered up with some people I know, my colleagues now at Section 31, to develop this cybercrime, cybersecurity agency to help Thai companies aspire to Thailand 4.0 digital world. All right, so before I jump into cybersecurity, today I just want to give you all a bit of a background so that everyone's aligned, because I'm sure you hear so much about cybersecurity and all kinds of jargon. So let me just start off from the digital world. About 30 years, a lot has happened. Starting from 1980 was the start of personal technology. So you have the IBM PC. I'm not sure if you had that in Thailand, but those big PC computers. And then you contrast that with the little communications devices, which were the pagers, right? Completely inefficient way of communication, but everyone had one and it looked cool. Then you jump to 1990. 1990 was really the rise, the beginning part of the internet, which started to dovetail into the dot-com boom, right? The big three started to replace pagers with those big backpack mobile phones. Remember? Did you have the backpack and the brick phones? So you have Motorola, Nokia, and Ericsson. And this was really when messenger services started, social services. But this was mostly done on PC platforms. So MSN, AOL, Yahoo. And then in early 2000, you start to get what some people called a smartphone. I didn't think they were that smart, but they were the personal digital assistants. So those were the Nokias that opened up and you can have a nice calendar and all your contacts. Okay, so it's not so smart, but you start to see social media become much more robust. And I think Kun Mike alluded to this earlier. Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, Bebo, and High Five. So with this data, they were starting to become more of a treasure trove of data and information in the online space. And this was accentuated and amplified from 2006 with the launch of Apple iPhone. Okay? So Apple iPhone was able to help maximize all this data. And with the Apple iPhone, you have what is called the Slate Wars because of the shape of the mobile phone of the Apple, the Slate Wars. 2010 is all about apps, the rise of applications. So whether through legitimate channels like app stores or illegitimate channels like jailbreaking in order to get to apps, everything was about apps. But this really was a perfect storm where people were able to maximize data over the smartphones. And it was the first real point of data retention. Today, everything is digitized. Everything is starting to be interconnected. So you look at things like Siri, and I mentioned Orange. In 2000, we had this video. Mark, do you remember? It's called Orange World. Did you ever see this video? It was about the future. Yeah? People running on the beach with headsets, and everyone thought this is impossible. Talking to a digital assistant, hands-free. It seemed like such a far world away, and now it's all come true. Okay? So everything is digitized. Your car can talk to the garage. Your refrigerator can talk to the grocery store. You can monitor your entire home security and thermometer with a touch of a button on your phone. In fact, it's not even a touch of a button anymore, it's just voice-activated command. So this is all designed to make our life much easier. Everything is much more efficient, convenient, and connected, and we're supposed to be happy. But there's a dark side. There's a dark side to this digitization. Now I'll take a little step back. As Thailand aspires to reach Thailand 4.0, there's one lucky thing as a result of being slow and not as robust. Things like state-owned enterprises like EGAT, PTT, Waterworks, BOT, and all the telecommunications companies here are not robustly interconnected, which I might argue is a good thing. Why? Because as we try to achieve 4.0, we can do it in the right way, protecting ourselves along the way, because every day now, if you read the Bangkok Post, there's all kinds of stories about the concerns surrounding cybercrime. Okay, and you're even hearing WhatsApp is getting infiltrated now. So we need to do things the right way. What was told to me about the Ukraine invasion by Russia was it all started with cyber attacks. So before the Russian military moved into Ukraine, all the cyber security consultants for the Russian army were hacking Ukraine infrastructure. So I'll give you an example. The Ukraine electricity grid, everyone's monitoring it in these rooms. Yeah, and all the dashboards, all the maps, every indicator shows green. Everything is green. Concurrently, in parallel, the Russian military are knocking off all telecommunications in Ukraine. People could not call each other. People couldn't call each other. The other thing they were doing was they were blacking out the entire country. So the power went completely off in Ukraine at the same time. So what happens? Power goes off, no one can see, you can't pick up the phone to call. So the people inside the electricity grid, Ukraine's version of EGAT, think everything is going well. The whole time, the Russian military are moving in. And that's how they invaded Ukraine. So with that example, you start to see this Economist quote. This is a quote from The Economist. The world's most valuable resource used to be oil. Now it's data. But the world is struggling, and Thailand is also struggling to keep up. What are the governing principles around this? Who's taking charge? Who's taking an end-to-end interest? Okay, this slide says who are the attackers, but I think it should be called who are the players, because the white hackers are the good guys. They're not attackers, they're the good guys. They're people like me and my colleagues from Section 31. Security consultants who are focused on helping corporates protect themselves preemptively, be much more resilient, and have a strong cyber defense. So those are the white hat hackers. The gray hat hackers are what we call hacktivists. The hacktivists have two motivations. Either it's for notoriety or for fun, just to get on the map, or to make political statements, or to help with political statements. So we call them sort of a Robin Hood style hacker. The third hacker are the bad guys in the cyber world, the black hat hackers. So these are evil corporations, rogue government associations, people who are interested in corporate espionage, people who want to bring down a country, people who use sensitive information to sell to the highest bidder over dark web. But anyone can be a target. If you open your phone or your PC and you go into the spam filter, I'm sure you'll have a list from many friends in Nigeria. The Nigerian prince scam. As of 2016, $5.8 billion was sent to Nigeria. $5.8 billion. People are still getting fooled by this scam. I hope none of you did. So where the individual and corporate worlds converge is things like ransomware phishing. Ransomware is where they take your computer completely hostage. Yeah, they took the information hostage and you have to pay money in order to release it or to unlock access. Then you have things like phishing. Phishing are those spoof emails that I mentioned, like the Nigerian bank scam. And phishing, they're just trying to act like they're an official entity. In Thailand, we have to be careful too because you get emails from your bank sometimes, but it's not your bank. They're asking for information like account details, which banks should already have. So all they're trying to do is gain access to your internet banking or your mobile banking. Internal system infiltration. That's where they get in, they could start to expand their scope and start to steal information, data leaks. And this is the thing they sell to other corporates, perhaps, corporate espionage. Surveillance. Employees need to be careful what they type on the computer, because through keystrokes, hackers can see what you're saying. They can collect that information. Cameras, CCTV, they can hack the system. They can look at your login to see who you're interacting with and what you're saying and where.